take those, and whatever the rest of it we're gonna take.
Open our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone. First thing on the agenda is agenda approval.
I'll move to approve.
Any changes?
I do not have any changes, Mr. Chair.
I'll second. I'll second.
did.
She moved.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any public input? Hearing none, on to the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And county employee recognition.
Good morning.
Morning.
For county employee recognition today, in facilities maintenance, Brenda Page, custodian, is recognized for service from April 2nd, 2018 to May 29th, 2026. In human services, Jared Bushy, eligibility worker, is recognized for 5 years of service on May 11th. In natural resource management, Patrick Finnegan, parks maintenance worker, began the full-time seasonal position on May 11th. And in solid waste, Patrick Riggs, solid waste worker reuse, began the full-time temporary position on May 4th.
Thank you, Mike. On to highway survey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
A few items today for you. The first one is a quote that we received, two quotes actually, to replace the landscaping around the building. 2 years ago, we had to cut down the pine trees around the building. They had a disease. You'd have to ask Corey which one, I'm not quite sure. They were dropping needles on the roof, causing drainage issues on the roof, which was leaking into the garage. So we made the decision just to cut all those down, clear them out, and now we'd like to plant back with, it's a blend, a mix of different types of trees that will make the building look nicer and kind of bring back a little personality to the area around there.
It's pretty stark out there.
It is, and it's a very long building, and I probably had 4 or 5 calls when we did it asking why, and then the chamber contacted asking why, and so now I'd kind of like to bring it back to make it look a little better. So anyways, the low quote was Flying W Gardens, and they quoted $10,340. It's about 20 plus trees they're quoting. They have a year warranty, and they do the planting and then water bags and stuff on them too.
What's the age of the trees?
Sorry, what's that?
What's the age of the trees?
I don't know the age, but they're all about 5-6 feet tall, so they are a little more mature.
yeah.
They're not little sprouts or
Yeah, yeah,
anything.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the low quote. It is one of the first buildings you see when you come in to Park Rapids from the south, and appearance would be nice.
Yeah, and it's, like I said, it's a mix. There's pines, there's leaf trees, there's a whole bunch of, some shrubs even in there, so it'll look nice.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, the second item I have is to approve the grant agreement, and there's a resolution attached to for SAP 029589001. This was the IIJA Technical Assistant Grant that we received to hire a consultant to start developing the grant applications for the intersection at CSAH 4 and 34. We're partnering with MnDOT. We're looking at potentially a roundabout in the future there, but I'd like to go after bigger money, which is the federal money. So hiring a consultant will help with that. They'll kind of develop a plan, and then they'll write the grants as the funding sources become available. So with that, MnDOT requests these grant agreements, and then there's a resolution just stating that we agree to the terms in the agreement.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay.
5C.
And the last one is a discussion with you all to set the date and time for the public hearings of the 5-year plan this year. I'm proposing to hold one in Rockwood Township at their town hall. I've contacted their board and they're okay with that. We have a couple paving jobs up in that area and then a bridge replacement in the area as well. And then the second one would be held here at the courthouse at a time. So just looking to set those dates with you today and then get the notice out. I'm looking at June potentially. The only dates I can't are the 10th through the 12th. I have a conference those days. But yeah, I'd like to hear from you guys if you have any preferred dates or if Cadwell, if you know of any dates that would work best for that.
Well, for me to attend, it would have to be the week of the 20th, 22nd.
Doesn't it start at 6? Isn't it past?
We could do 6 or 7. The last time we did them in Heart Lake, it was at 7 o'clock at night. So later in the evening.
So for the northern part, Rockwood, I'm just throwing a date out there, the 15th, a Monday.
Yeah, it is a Monday.
Would that work?
Yeah,
I'm
that
open then.
works for me.
Thinking about Steve over there since it's his neighborhood too, kinda.
Yeah, I'm okay with the 15th. I don't have anything on my calendar right now that I'm aware of.
Okay. If I can plan that, I'll talk with the township and get it scheduled in their town hall.
Okay.
You just can't schedule it on the 17th. That's the County Board of Appeal. We'll already be here.
Okay. Yep, and then at the courthouse here, do you all have any preference on date?
And just be gone from the 4th to the 18th.
Do we want to do it the following Monday then?
That would be fine. with me.
22nd?
22nd?
Fine.
Second's fine for me too.
Do you prefer at 6 or 7?
6.
6, okay.
And the same at Rockwood then, 6 PM?
Yeah, we could do
Is that what
6
we're thinking?
to it. Yep. And then I can get the room reserved here for that night, if that works. So,
June 26th, 6 PM.
yes. Or
No, June
the 22nd, sorry.
June 22nd.
June 22nd at 6
6 PM, or
at,
right here.
at the courthouse, yep.
There's no conflicts, is there, Jeff, with planning commission or anything like that?
There would be a conflict with the Planning Commission on Monday, the 22nd.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, is that planning commission?
Yep.
Right?
Oh, okay, so then, do you want to move it to the following, the 29th, or should we do
Go back to the
Tuesday, the
15th.
23rd? Wednesday, the 24th?
I'm good on either of those.
Yeah, all those dates work for me.
Let's do Wednesday. Is that okay?
24th?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
So we need a motion for that, if everybody's good with that.
I'll make a motion to set the 15th and the 24th at 6 PM for the 5-year road work plan.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, thank you. That is all.
All right, Josh.
Good morning. Well, I just have some informational items for you guys this morning. I was really hoping I would be coming in today with a bunch of good news on bonding, but that wasn't the case, so I'll kind of touch on that quick. So yeah, with our 9-county hub and spoke project, we were not allocated any funding from the $1.2 billion bonding bill. We thought we had some good movement there towards the end of session, and we're, thinking we had a shot at making it in there, but at the end of the day, we didn't get any funding in the bonding bill. The MPCA was awarded 10.514 million for cap projects through the bonding bill, but it was identified to a certain list of projects that didn't involve ours. So I think there's 3 other projects that would be funded through that funding this go around.
Josh, I just have a quick question. Even though they didn't fund anything, they're still set to close. They didn't do anything legislatively to adjust that, right?
No, there wasn't any action that I know of with that, so. And that, there has been bills like that in the past, and, you know, I think we just kinda, you know, after Sunday there, the end of session, we just need to regroup, and we gotta really start focusing and planning, you know, making contingencies now, I think, on what we're gonna do if we're not able to get funding. So we really gotta spend a lot of significant time coming up here, figuring out how we're gonna be moving forward with C&D in our county and in our region. So, and maybe that, you know, the state maybe will be involved with that. I mean, I know they had funding that they were seeking this go around kind of for the first time to help with C&D issues. So, I mean, we maybe still have another round or two where we can line up and try to line up for funding. But the closer we move towards into the future, the closer we all end up to either having our facilities full or being forced to close with new rules or expiring permits. So something we really got to commit a lot of time to in the near future.
How many years of capacity do we have at the south and at the north?
So we're sitting probably with, you know, it's hard, demolition volumes vary every year, but I mean, we're still within, our permits expire in 2029 and 2030. And then we'd have to either get a permit renewal, and then our capacities are, you know, really ranging anywhere from 5 to 10 years, depending on volumes. So we're getting close.
Close without any renewal. I mean, it would be a pickle.
And the state rule, you know, they keep pushing that back. They were planning to have that adopted by the end of this year, and they're supposed to have like this next revision out in February, and now we're, you know, 3 months past that. They're not close to, you know, anywhere further along that process, and it's going to be really hard for us to plan too without knowing what the new rules are going to end up being. And the MPCA is holding a lot of facilities now to what they think the new rules are going to be. So when anyone comes in for a re-permit, for instance, they're saying you have to line your facilities even though that's not currently in the rules. So it just makes it very difficult to plan and make decisions on. So,
You know, you would think, you know, they were worried about the cost of housing and if construction removal is going to get more expensive for contractors to move debris. It isn't helping the cause.
yeah, I mean, even, yeah, no matter what, I mean, everything's going to lead to higher expenses with disposal.
Typically, how long does a renewal take? And what is the likelihood of getting a renewal?
That's probably a hard question to answer. I mean, our last permits that we had renewed for our facility were actually facilities were applied for in 2013 and 2014, and they were not approved until 2019 and 2020. So it's, but a lot of times the MPCA will give you flexibility to keep operating until they issue their permits, but yeah, sometimes it's not a very timely process, so.
You haven't heard any conversation about what changes might happen in the solid waste realm during this time frame coming forward here, or?
So with the construction and demolition rules, or
The likelihood, you know, is there gonna be a bunch of changes if we apply for a renewal because nothing happens with the rest of it? How many changes have you heard conversations about happening during the meantime?
there hasn't
Are they
really
pretty-
been
pretty
much
quiet?
discussion on it. I mean,
Okay, all
right
right.
now, they're not even, until the next revision of the rules are out, they're not really discussing it at all, so.
Okay. It would be nice if they'd kind of open up to listen to some of the issues that are happening so that when it comes time for renewal, that at least they've got better ideas of the struggles that all the counties have with solid waste, solid waste in general, but construction and demolition mostly.
Yep. No, it's, it's gonna, I think, continue to be more and more of a priority of, us and other counties across the state too. So I imagine it'll be, continue gaining attention in AMC and those realms too, so.
Something will happen, because doing nothing isn't gonna work.
Yep. Other than that, there wasn't a lot of success in any of the other solid waste initiatives at the legislature. There was a battery bill that had good agreement between all stakeholders that looked like it was gonna pass, and at the end, that was pulled out as well of any legislation. So I think that'll be hopefully gain a lot of traction for moving forward and getting some support in future sessions. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of the summary of the, kind of the environmental committee from AMC was, it wasn't an easy year for the environment and land use policy proposals, so. But like he mentioned, I mean, it did lay some good groundwork for future years, but. So yeah, that's kind of the legislative recap that impacts our department. Moving on to the organics programs, our residential program is continuing to expand and we're gaining new signups every week. I think we've registered close to 100 new households since our rollout this spring. And then overall, we're approaching about 350 households that have signed up for our residential program. Our 6-county region was also selected for grant funding from the Minnesota Composting Council for an advertising campaign. So that'll be kicking off, I think, this fall and next spring. We'll help get some funding, and we'll be working with the marketer to really promote our organics programs throughout our region, so.
Yeah, I spoke with a couple people this last week that were expressing a lot of interest in the program. They didn't even realize it existed for just
Yep.
the organics and, what can I put in there? What can I, how do I take care of my bag and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully they come in and grab bags from you.
Yeah, and we've been continuing, we've been still promoting it through all our, through radio, through flyers, through direct mailers. So we'll keep doing that as well, but hopefully this advertising campaign will make a big difference in our region, so. Our commercial organics program, we started our organics collection in Hubbard County last week. Beltrami County is continuing to build their routes, and we'll begin the route up there hopefully later this summer. And we finally, yesterday, our new organics truck showed up at our facility yesterday. We ordered that back in January of 2025. So it was finally nice to see that on the ground. So we'll be getting that ready to get into service here soon, and we'll have that to be able to use on these new routes. So, and this was again funded through the organics grant that we received from the MPCA. With our next item, I just wanted to touch on briefly was the reuse center construction project. Design and engineering are all well underway. We're working with ICS, and they have their design teams working on the different aspects with civil and building and electrical items. We've had some site surveying done and are lining up soil borings. So everything's on schedule. We're still pretty early in the process, but on schedule to look at going out to bid, or getting ready to go out to bid in July, and then August or September construction. So things are moving with that. So that's about all I had, unless you guys have any questions on anything. So
Yeah, the public outreach through the community education, did that happen already, or do you recall what date that was?
I believe there's a community education meeting tonight, I believe, so.
Okay, all right.
And that's Chris in our department's doing that. so.
Yeah, I was reading the flyer about it, and there's a lot of good information there. I think you can cover a lot of ground. Hopefully, there's a lot of public interest in it, because I think a lot of people don't know a lot about what is available for waste products, I guess, and reusing.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and he's been, actually had several different presentations he's done to different groups this spring, so, you know, we try to get out there, get out in different events and get into the schools, so we'll keep continuing to make that a priority too, so.
all right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Michael? Morning.
Good morning. Just one item here today. I'm looking to get approval to start purchase a service agreement with a new provider. This is North Star Nursing. This is the tail end of what we had happen in January. I was in front of the board where we had a provider that had to unfortunately close doors. We did have a provider step in immediately and take the ongoing clients, but they were unable to take any new clients. So adding this provider to our menu will help alleviate that for the new clients that still need home health aid and skilled nursing.
What was the reason they couldn't take on any new clients? Was it due to the contractual wording, or they just weren't up to capacity-wise with staff, or?
Yep, the provider that we added, I believe it was in February, historically doesn't bill Medicaid.
Okay,
So they were private pay only, but given the situation at hand, they didn't want the individuals to go unserved, so they were licensed to bill Medicaid, they just chose not, they have always chose not to because of the reimbursement rates.
sure.
So they just wanted to do the ongoing, or the ones that were already established and not any new clients.
Will then those clients also go then to the new provider?
I'd imagine we'll probably have some switchover, but we do have a few right now that require these services that have nothing in place, so we're hoping to get them added. A couple weeks ago, unfortunately, I wasn't able to present then, so.
Thank you.
How was the pricing kind of in line with where we were?
Yeah, yep, service costs are the same. Most of their service is built to our waiver system, so it's set. And then we do have just a modified scale for the ones that use our adult mental health initiative, just slightly higher, but still in line with everyone else.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mike, I just have a quick question. So I'm sure you don't have specifics yet, but we heard at MRC yesterday that the African American Act was going to be reimbursed by 10% only. Do you have any thoughts of how that will affect the budget as far as dollar-wise, or?
I don't have anything prepared for that.
I know, I'm just springing it on
But-
you. That's all we heard yesterday was.
Prior, while legislation was still open, I know I'd been reviewing what it looks like for us to add the additional requirements for that new mandate. Reached out to a couple other counties to see how they were gonna handle it. Ultimately, adding is their answer, even though it's not what they want, because there's more work than what they can currently handle. I don't have a plan put together, but I mean, I was kind of waiting for the weekend to end and hoping for something good.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping that it'd be pushed, I know they were hoping to push it to start in '28, but,
And it sounds like there's a possibility there might be court cases against it. They didn't talk about that at MRC yesterday, but I know people are questioning the legality of those served, so who knows where.
So, I haven't read anything yet, but I would imagine Max will be putting something out for us to
Yeah.
follow through and read here this week.
All right, anything else?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Jeff.
The first item under administrator is to bring Jake up.
Yep, so the item we got in front of you is just the update to the Mississippi's having their next phase of funding to approve that, and say it's a little bit of an increase from the last phase. A good chunk of that is gone to kind of a pool that is kind of set aside for projects for when folks go, so the budget, our budget's fairly similar to what it was or the Hubbard side of the budget's pretty similar to what it was last time. I think there's about $12,000 increase, and a good chunk of that other increase in funds from the last phase is kind of set aside for projects for when larger projects come up. The kind of first couple phases were gone through those large scale projects, and so so most of the kind of big projects are kind of completed, and so they've set those funds aside for if any more of those pop up, and if not, the plan is to kind of shift those back to the individual counties to work on their projects. And currently, kind of the focus on our end is on shoreline and riparian areas along with forestry. There is a handful of agricultural lands we're looking for, but that is relatively light agricultural area. So it's mainly forestry and shoreline.
Jeff, will you stop at this page, because I have done page 3, I have a question when he's done. Okay,
This one?
yeah.
Okay.
So, move to the 2024 work plan, the 27,000 and then 70,000. So, is that work completed since it's in 2024, or was it started in 2024 and it's ongoing, or?
I think what that is this would be our third funding. and so-
Yes, it would
so-
be.
Yeah, so these are funds that were for the 2024 work plan, but they haven't been spent yet.
Okay, thank you.
Yep,
Okay.
there's an overlap with these work plans of a year, and so they're issued every 2 years, but the funds are available for 3, so the 2024 work plan's currently available, so this is just discussing some of that.
Okay, so that money has to be used up by the end of 2027?
But by the end of this year, and they're on track to spend those funds out.
Okay,
I'd
okay,
say
thank
last
you.
time I had
Oh,
heard, I
yeah.
think there was all about like 7,000 or 8,000 allocated for the end of the year, and essentially projects that get developed this year can get shifted, so there shouldn't be any issues getting those expended.
Thanks.
But then, just looking to kind of see if there's any questions on it or any concerns. It's pretty similar to what we've done in the past seasons. I guess I have one big notable project. We do have a culvert replacement project that is allocated directly in here, that there's a culvert that feeds towards Lake Plantagenet that has had substantial issues with being undersized and eroding, and it's causing major issues on a private roadway, along with quite a bit of stream stability issues. So if you do see that, I think like around 32,000 set aside specifically for that project, and the other stuff is for projects that will be developed over the three-year plan.
Grant match, how's that split up?
So the grant match is just there's that, it's a 10% total match, and typically that is done through like most of our cost shares allow up to a 75% cost share, and so the 25% comes from either like a private landowner or from like a public entity that we're working with. And I know a lot of it in the past phases have come from the city of Bemidji, because they've done a couple big stormwater projects, and so our match has been covered by that. And so that 25% match coming from the owner of the project essentially will be what covers that, and it's been pretty easy to match that 10% the last couple of phases.
I have a question on the drinking water stewardship. So I'm assuming if you look at the well, provide 50 private well water test kits so the public can just come in and get those free of charge? Is that correct?
And say that's a program for like kind of specific areas that are having high nitrate issues, and say our part of the Mississippi, we're not having that. But we
Okay.
do facilitate that in our office in general, so people can come over to us and get assistance with nitrate testing on the first Friday of each month
Yep.
for free, or they
Yep.
can come get their other tests. But I believe that's kind of a more specified local area. And then in general, like the most of the groundwater stuff would be doing up there would just be abandoned wells and sealing abandoned wells. Because we have.
So would that be on public property or private
It
property?
can be on,
Either or.
either, essentially, as long as they're not required by law to seal it. If it's an abandoned well that's been abandoned for X amount of time, we can help out, but if they're required because they're expanding or updating or a new build or whatnot, we can't assist. But if they're not required by law, we can assist them in getting that well sealed.
So that's a wonderful option. Do you guys advertise that, or how, is it just word of mouth?
As a lot of it's just word of mouth, and in some of our priority areas, we have, where there is high nitrates, we do advertise and have done outreach campaigns related to it. Haven't done as much in the Mississippi just because the groundwater's pretty good up there.
Thank you.
All right, so we need a motion to approve the resolution.
Instead, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Jake.
Oh, Jake, before you go, tree sales, how did that go this year?
Oh, yeah, that went pretty well. We kind of did a little bit different than we've done in the past. Hosted at our office, and that seemed to work. Helped kind of cut down the DNR has been very nice. They actually were able to provide a cold trailer for us, so we were able to kind of hold the trees a little bit longer than normal. But and so that was pretty good of them. Yeah, they've then been able to rent that out for. We had a fall tree sale and the spring tree sale. They've been able to borrow that to us at no cost to facilitate our plantings, or our projects, and just the generic tree sale. So yeah, I think we got somewhere around 20,000 trees sent out, and then on our project side, I think they've planted around 15,000.
I know I just received an email not long ago about a surplus of trees that you still had on hand. Are those still available for the public to come in and buy?
Those are no longer available. We did have like a kind of like a reduced cost sale over like the week after the tree sale, and then we did have a handful of trees left over, and then typically we donate those to the Boy Scout camp
Okay.
because they help us out with the freshwater festival quite a bit. So Andy from there swung by I think last Friday and picked up the leftovers, and so they'll get them planted somewhere out on their
All right.
land.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Jake.
See you tomorrow. Y'all have a nice day.
All right. B.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The only items that are changing on this data practice policy is we're updating the list of responsible authorities to make sure the names are correct. So really just administrative. The policy hasn't changed. The rules, the statute, Minnesota Statute 13 hasn't changed. I think we just had a couple of names that we had to update.
Jeff, when I read through this again today to refresh my memory,
Yeah.
the $25 charge per hour, if I had a data request and I only wanted like 3 pages, am I only charged the 25 cents per page and no county employee time, or would I be charged a quarter hour?
The hourly charge is for things that require research and redaction. If it
Okay.
is a
Okay, that
request for an
explains it.
existing document,
Uh-huh.
they are typically supplied electronically without charge.
Okay,
Most
thank you.
most requests are fulfilled electronically without charge. It's the redaction and the going through and having to do that we charge the hourly basis for. And then if there are large chunks, I think it's for 100 or fewer copies, and almost nobody takes copies anymore. Everybody wants it
Yep.
electronically, so I could look and see, but I don't think we
No, I'm
charge.
just curious.
I don't even think we charge hundreds of dollars a year for all the data requests that we get. Most of the data requests that we get are very informal. They come through the website, either in the contact form or in the data request form. And there's something that can be answered very simply. And all of those route to me, and I distribute them out to everybody else, so I know how many are coming in. So this is just administrative, making sure that the names are correct, and we can put that on the website.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve.
Okay,
This Ted, I'll second.
any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And
And then,
8C.
Mr. Chair, do we want to do the committee reports, the meeting notes, and everything else before we do closed session, or do you want to close and then
Yeah,
reopen?
that's probably a good idea. Let's go ahead and start with committee reports. Want to start on your end, Ted?
Sure. Let's see. Let's see, criminal justice workshop. We had a meeting last week, talked about where we were at with the DUI court. And David, you were at that meeting too, and Jeff too. I'm trying to remember what we talked about.
It was kind of business as usual.
Yeah, it was,
He updated a little bit about the funding, and what the thoughts were about how that was gonna change or not change, and the impact to Hubbard County was negligible. I think they talked about some staffing changes that they had.
yeah. So it was wasn't that long of a meeting and covered a few bases there. Mainly, like you say, an update.
Yep.
And then, let's see, the only other meeting I had was the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment last night, where we, as part of the Planning Commission, reviewed a development. It's up on number 4. Planning Commission okayed everything. There really wasn't, there was the only question was a couple of driveway entrances onto County Road 4. Ken had pointed out that between between 210 and County Road 18, technically there aren't any driveway approaches at this point. There are 3 approaches for fields. So that, like I say, everything met requirements and went through fine. And that's all I had.
Ted, I do have a quick question about that development on 4.
Okay.
Was anybody from the highway department there to
Nope,
voice any concerns?
no.
Okay.
No, Andrea had written in earlier, and so did the land use attorney, had commented on what Andrea had said. Going out there myself and looking at it, the 2 lots that were on highway, or on Township Road 210, they talked about maybe making some kind of access for the other 2 northern parts, but I couldn't imagine the costs and that to try to build a driveway or something down that topography and then back up. And like I'd mentioned to Shar this morning, one of the lots there, probably the best spot to put the road would be one of the nice level spots to put a house. And then, like I say, with, Ken had talked about, from, I believe it was 34 to 210, there's 41 approaches, driveway approaches. And from 210 to County Road 18, which is about a mile, there's those 3 field approaches. So there really isn't like a bunch of houses there and traffic to be concerned. And I felt the same way. Like I said, I'm glad I go out and look at these things, because pictures and that don't tell the whole story. And so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So on the plat, because I don't remember, is there even road, is the developer having everybody do their own?
Yes.
He's not putting in any type of road at all?
No.
All of the parcels have
Road frontage.
road frontage, so there's no,
Yes, they do,
there's
yeah.
no road.
Yeah.
And the two on 210 are just about, they're 9 point some odd acres, over 300 feet of frontage. And then the 2 on County Road 4, I believe the first one, the highest north one, is number 1. That one, I'd see a couple different spots to put an approach. The number 2, there's a current field approach there. I guess if they build on the north side of the property, they'll have a nice a bail for a walkout and the southern view and everything, so that might be a nice spot. But, like I say, if you go, there's a cattle crossing there that goes under the road.
Yeah, there is.
And at that point, I can't imagine where you would put a house around that area. It's all downhill.
Which is why that one lot is so large.
Yeah, yeah.
The challenges of this particular application are minor. The challenges of potential future implications along County Road 4 are significantly more complicated. And I had suggested that both the Highway Department and Environmental Services take a look at, this may be a point in time when we have to modify, review or modify one or more of the policies.
Yeah, because isn't the trail gotta go along the highway there? The Heartland?
It'll, it uses the shoulder of the road.
Yeah.
At this point, there's no funding to do a separate trail.
From Emmaville down to the Heartland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing is the potential for what's gonna happen on the east side of, or the west side of 4 could cause significantly more impacts. I even talked to someone involved with this project, and they had suggested that they might combine and have a shared driveway access off of 4 for the two properties. Sounds like that didn't end up being discussed.
Yeah, it was discussed, but they didn't make it a condition.
They didn't make it a condition, okay. Well, they had no basis to make it a condition, but
And the applicant actually brought it up.
it would honestly make more sense for that northernmost parcel if they're drive, because of the
way it goes
the
up.
elevation from the road along that first parcel. The better place to go would be right along the northern edge of the bigger parcel and then up and off, but 1 or 2 probably isn't gonna change anything there.
Yeah, I could see, the most I could see on that side of the road, on the east side, would be maybe 3, because there's a northern, where these lots are, there's one more north of that, but they're also on County Road 18. So,
Yes.
so if they were required, they could maybe do that, so, yeah. On this stretch of road, I think, on the east side,
I think at that point, the highway department could ask them to come on the other road that they have
yeah,
access to.
All right, Tom?
Let's see, I had a couple of Kitchigami Library Committee meetings. One of them was the Budget Committee. So we came up with the preliminary budget request for each of the government units for Hubbard County. The request will be at 291. This year it's 271, so it's a 7.5% increase. For Beltrami County, we're going to request the same amount that, I mean, as if they didn't make these big cuts, we're gonna request the amount that they originally requested last year, plus whatever increase would be needed to maintain the staff that they had previously. And then let them deal with it from there after that. Let's see, then, well, we're going to have the regional board meeting Thursday. It's gonna be a pretty big meeting. We've got 2 staffing decisions to make. So that's not going to be an easy thing. Then I had mental health board, or LAC, whatever we call it. Several things from that. A lady named Karen Hill was hired by the Lake Country Associates. She's going to deal with eating disorders. Wellness in the Park will be May 27th from 3 to 6. And I'll be probably attending that, for at least going through and meeting with everybody there for that. And Jason was there at the meeting for, the transportation director for the county. He's mentioned that they received a $125,000 grant for a new dispatch software, which they said is gonna help them quite a bit in making the dispatches. Then they also received a grant for some new propane buses. And of course, they're really looking forward to the garage facility in 2027. Is that correct?
Which well, may not happen because
May not.
because the transportation omnibus bill didn't pass. There's,
Ah,
the application was approved for funding contingent that they get their stuff. So, the propane buses are fantastic, but the filling stations don't come until we get the garage. And, that's more of the bad news that came out of this last week of session is I don't believe that funding for those grants was approved.
so the propane buses will be put on hold until something decided, or any way around that?
There's no real way around that.
Okay.
Even, and truthfully, even if we put the order in now, I bet it's 2-3 years before we get them. So I'm not sure. We'll have to evaluate that. It's all good news. It's just kind of contingent on, the funding for the garage coming through. And they may find a way to fund that out of existing dollars, but I believe that was included in the transportation omnibus package, which hasn't been approved.
That's all I got.
All right, I just had, same meeting Ted talked about there briefly, and then, the radio board met, and unfortunately, I wanted to go in person, because they were doing a tour of the Red River Regional Dispatch Center, the new thing they had built over there, so I missed that, and I was kinda looking forward to that, but other than that, it was just regular business. That's all I got.
Family Research Council, or Family Safety Network, excuse me, their services are up quite a bit this month, and they're looking to figure out how to fund to add an actual office in Clearwater County, so people can come in. The other meeting I had was for HIP, and it was for Coffee Talks. Heather and Randy Backus were parents of a young man who committed suicide. Were there to talk on marijuana, and Steve and I attended last year. They also had an evening session with the same couple. The one at noon only had 3 of us there, Angie, myself, and a grandmother who had not heard the presentation before. Because there were only 3 of us, Heather and Randy just sat down in a chair and we carried on a conversation for an hour and a half, and it was really worthwhile. And just for the public, if anybody's listening, to realize that marijuana is not without a lot of risks, and when someone between the ages of 18 and 20, well, younger, up to age 26, when they use marijuana, when their brain is developing, it actually can cause the development of schizophrenia or bipolar. Their son became schizophrenia and later committed suicide. Then they went into people who use marijuana on a regular basis, no matter what age they are, the stomach issues that are developed. And then magnify when they have withdrawal. It was really interesting. It was probably one of the best coffee talks I've been to, just from the standpoint, we just had conversation. And they agreed, they're really committed to this. The turnouts are usually very poor. People either think marijuana is the same as it always was, so their kids, it won't matter if they use it, or they figure their kids aren't using, so they don't need to listen, and it's not until something tragic happens that people actually start listening. They are getting into some schools. I believe they were it was either Nebris or LaPorte that they went to this year. So anyway, it was really worthwhile. Just a reminder that on the 27th, there's Wellness in the Park from 3 to 6.
This month, yep.
Yep, so HIP will be there along with several others that's what I had for meetings.
Okay, I went to the opioid settlement dollar summit down in Wilmer with Angela. I'm glad I went. There was a lot of good information there. The slides still aren't available to me to share with anybody. But what you just spoke about, the start in the marijuana end of things, they had an addict who spoke for actually about an hour about how he started. it just simply started with marijuana, and when he didn't get what he wanted out of that anymore, he just gradually just moved to another one. And there were some quotes that he said that were very interesting, you know. I don't remember them all, but he did make the point that getting sober is 10% of the work. It's 90% is getting your life back in order. And he said it's one of those things you just need to focus one day at a time. Don't worry about next week. Just get through this day and be strong and just continue to move forward in a positive way. But there was a lot of good information overall. I didn't make it to all the breakout sessions. I attended 2 of them, and one had to do mostly with the medication for opioid use disorders in the jails. I thought that was very, very interesting, very worthwhile. Some of the individual who spoke was a jail administrator, and he said when the idea of medication in the jail for opioid use was brought up, he just kind of poo-pooed it, thought it wasn't worthwhile, you know. But then he said after we started the program, we started getting involved, everybody was trained. He said he is a 100% believer in it happening in our jails. He said it saves lives, it saves people, it gets them to see maybe the other side, you know, what can the possibilities be for me. So I was very, very glad to hear that. And there was a lot of other information that was given out. Like I said, the slides weren't available yet, so I can't share any of those, but I do have just the schedule of events that happened if anybody wants to see it and what they talked about. But it was a very worthwhile event. I wish they would have more of them, because I don't think there's enough education about and enough information about how people are utilizing the funds. You know, are there inventive strategies that people have come up with? And really no clear definition of the actual expenditures and approvals for those expenditures of where it's going. So I really did enjoy it. It was a long day, but I think it was worthwhile.
I did talk briefly to Angie about it, and she said the one takeaway she had was there are counties that have been spending months and months planning
Yes.
about how they're gonna spend the funds.
Yep.
So that was one takeaway she had.
So anyway, and that's all I had.
All right. So meetings coming up, we have AMC District 2 on June 3rd at Beltrami County Boardroom. No, I plan on attending. Grand opening celebration of the new Mantrap Wildlife Management Area, Thursday, June 25th at 2 p.m. Some hikes and boat tours planned at noon.
I would add, Mr. Chair, that I'll be on vacation next week. And June 1st, we are turning on Tyler payments for tax payments. So hopefully that goes well on June 1st. We would like to have gotten it done before first half, but at least we have a deadline and a planned date, and all the bugs have been worked out. So I think we should be good. And just a reminder that the County Board of Appeal and Equalization is June 17th at 6 o'clock here.
17th, yep. Anybody got anything else? Otherwise, we could go back to item 8C and entertain a motion to enter closed session.
Before that, the only thing is who's gonna be at the managers meeting next
I am.
Tuesday?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Shar is?
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, got that covered, so I'd entertain a motion for the closed session to
So moved.
Administrator's Annual Review.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, meeting is closed.